Welcome again to my YouTube channel. So of course we have to meet every week so as we can analyze some of these trends. I promised you that, guys, I will be taking you each and every week, even if there is no trade which I'm anticipating, so as we can all go through what I'm anticipating and what we think is ought to be done in these markets. So I'll start with the US dollar index, and I will be analyzing three asset classes, three Forex pairs: the US dollar index, the British pound, and the Euro USD, because those are the major pairs which most people trade. And I believe that most of us here, that's the thing which they are focusing. So this is the Euro US dollar index, the daily chart. Of course, when you start analyzing the chart, you have to start with the higher time frame. I'm going to start with the monthly time frame. As you can see, this is the area which the market is trying to has rejected price from, and I can see some fair value gap around this place. So this place has a very high levels of liquidity because we have a gap and a high. So market has recently traded above this, the previous monthly high, and we are currently seeing some retracement on this beginning of this month. And you know the power of three: accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. So market will try to manipulate before it distributes. Like for example, this is our market. It will go like this. Okay, a minute. The power of three. Let me use this path. Manipulate, accumulate, then manipulate, accumulate, manipulate, sets you off to go low, then distribute. Okay, then distribute. So this is how the candle, each and every candle, most of the time forms. It will accumulate, manipulate, then distribute toward the direction which was intended for it to go. So this is the monthly. The weekly, this is what I'm seeing on the weekly. A previous weekly high was triggered, and a fair value gap has been left on this level. A fair value gap which has been left. So this could be a trigger point. Price will come, fill partially or completely fill this gap, then sets for higher prices. Okay, so it will come, fill this gap either partially or completely, then it will try to it will be directed towards these buy stops. Okay, so when you journal, put that in mind. So what I want you to do for an homework is just to wait for price to come fill, and then we will be checking, observing how the reaction of that candle, the weekly candle. Okay, you check that weekly candle, how does it react towards this point. You'll go down to the lower time frame, then you will be able to see the reaction of those candles, how they will react toward this fair value gap. Okay, it will come around this place, then it will start to set higher prices. On that higher prices, you go down to the 4-hour time frame, then you will be able to see a CB or a BC, an order block being formed. Okay, order block and a fair value gap. Then we'll be able to use those PDRs for higher prices until this region. That's the US dollar index. So let me go back to the British pound. The British pound, because this is the one which I'm currently observing. So my previous analysis, I talked about a gap being formed around this place on a weekly time frame, and as you can see, a gap has already been formed. Okay, this fair value gap, weekly fair value gap, has been formed around this place, and market, the price, what it will actually try to do, it will come toward this place, then either it will partially fill this fair value gap or completely fill this fair value gap. Then you will be able to see some down bearish momentum movement on a weekly candle. So you'll have to wait for this candle to form on next week, then wait for a reaction toward this weekly fair value gap. Wait for a reaction, especially on the weekly time frame. Wait for this reaction, then you'll go down to the lower time frame. You go down to the lower time frame, then a fair value gap may be formed around this place. A fair value gap may be formed on a daily time frame or in the 4-hour time frame. Okay, a fair value gap will be formed. So that fair value gap is what we are going to use and target this low and this low. The reason why I'm talking about this low is because some liquidity were taken around this place, relatively equal high, and we had our market structure shift. So what next? Market will try to go back to the area of equilibrium or discount when you check this chart. So for example, if we draw our Fibonacci from this point here, you can see a fair value gap has been formed. High likely price will try to draw towards these levels, this 50% level, and what's below the 50% level are low. So this low also may high likely attract price, but your initial sell stops should be this one and this one. Okay, then this one you'll use it on to journal your trades. Okay, so don't be in a rush. Next week I advise you to stay off the markets also. Just wait to see the reaction of this weekly candle, how it will react to this fair value gap price, because these are relative equals. We've had some liquidity taken around this place, and we can see a bullish candle, weekly candle, with a sweep of this low. It might close this fair value gap completely, completely close this fair value gap, and let's say you are in a hurry, you are in a rush to sell or to enter into markets, you'll be taken out so many times. So just wait for this weekly candle to form, then observe the reaction of this weekly, the next week candle, how it will react toward this fair value gap. Will it react trying to go down, or will it react trying to close above this fair value gap, forming inversion fair value gap targeting these highs? So just wait and see the reaction of this fair value gap with the weekly candle. Okay, So these are high likely. This one, I'm very sure this one will be, I'll give a probability, because markets is all about probability. According to what you have understood, you can't be 100% sure. You just have to make probabilities according to the PDRs and concepts which you are using. Currently, I'm using ICT concepts because those are the ones which have really given me an edge, and I can narrate the charts and give a story. I can narrate how the chart is moving, and some of the levels I can clearly depict them and try to measure my levels with those concepts. Okay, so quickly to the Euro USD. As you can see, this candle, we had this bullish candle. This was the inversion fair value gap. You see this weekly inversion fair value gap. Okay, some lows were, some sell stops were taken on the weekly time frame. You can see we have a weekly, this one is a weekly order block, weekly block, no, not an order block, but a weekly candle after some sweeps. So I'm anticipating price to come again, retest this weekly inversion fair value gap. So it will likely come, give us we try to sweep this previous weekly high, then reject the weekly inversion fair value gap. It will reject the price, because I feel like this is where my levels, this is where I'm currently aiming price to react. When you go in, when you change it into a 3 months, because from a higher time frame to a lower time frame, you can see this is a massive fair value gap, this is an order block. So this area, high likely this place has a lot of liquidity. That's why the market is trying to come and retest this level. And you can see we have this low, and then under fair value gap, the huge fair value gap, and a breaker sweep, breaker block, this one. So it will try to retrace toward this place. So this okay, this one is on a month, 3 months time frame. So you can see I'm pricing, I'm using the higher time frame to give me the sense of direction before going into the charts and trying to trade. So on a monthly, these are my levels. You can see we have this huge, we have this fair value gap. Most likely price will come and try to fill this gap, but these are my stops. Okay, these are my stops currently. I'm not trying to be greedy and wait. These are, so weekly, this is what I'm currently aiming, but I love to see how the price will react. Okay, I'm not going to be greedy, and I'm going to wait for my concepts, my